Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our January 2021 regular scheduled school board meeting. Is properly advertised in Escambia County in the Pensacola News Journal. We are pleased to see you here tonight, those who are joining us live or those who might be joining us via the internet. At this time, we will begin the meeting as usual with the invocation and the pledge. I believe tonight, Ms. Hightower, would you be in charge?
Thank you, Mr. Slayton. Happy New Year. I know it's already half a month gone, but I wanted to say, many of us probably passed resolutions. Some of us have probably already given up on them. But I have a mnemonic for you. Because of the climate that we're living in right now, we've lost 400,000 plus people to COVID. And so we've all been touched by it. And we've had some unpleasantries. And I want to ask you to resolve to think. I know all of you teachers take your students that all the time. And I did not make this up. I found it. But there was not anyone credited. There were lots of different sources. But when you think, T stands for, is it true? H, is it helpful? I, is it inspiring? N, is it necessary? And K, is it kind? If we would all stop and think and put those things into motion as we go about our daily jobs, our daily errands, I think we can make a difference. And we can make this a good year. I want to ask you in just a moment, we'll stand and we'll do a moment of silence to remember those 400,000 citizens who have passed. We will also think of our leaders, both local and national, and our community. And so whether you pray or meditate or just lean into the silence, think about what is your part in making this community the best place to live. Please stand. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good morning, good evening, Mr. Superintendent. How are you?
Doing well, thank you,
Good.
Mr. Chairman.
Good. It is now time for the adoption of the agenda. Do you have any deletions or corrections that you would like to give us at this time?
Yes, sir. We do have a few. To begin with, on page 1, under Committee Departmental Reports, item 1C3, Escambia Literacy Ambassador Resolution, needs to be amended at the table tonight due to a Scrivener's error. We will be removing the word is with the corrected resolution here, available for review and signature prior to presenting to Mrs. Marsh and Mrs. Rao. The corrected resolution will be the one presented to Mr. Sansing during the February meeting. The next item on page 1, under Proposed Rules, Section 2, Permission to Advertise. Item A has been amended, NOI, to name Sports Complex at PHS. On page 3, under Finance and Business Services, Section E, Purchasing, item 14 has been added. That is the student furniture for home elementary. And the last item is on page 4, Under items from the superintendent, Section 2, student discipline, item B has been amended and corrected. And those are the changes.
Thank you, sir. State statutes and school board rules require that changes made to the agenda after publication be based on a finding of good cause determined by the person designated to preside over the meeting and stated in the record. I have read all these, and I do find that they fit the criteria as mentioned. Is there any objections from any of the school board members to the additions or deletions?
No.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any discussion? If not, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, and since you mentioned 4-0, as you notice, Mr. Adams is not with us tonight. He is attending the legislative delegation meeting at, I guess, Pensacola State?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Okay, and he is representing the board and the school district, so that's why he's not here. Okay, committee and department reports. We are looking forward to a report from our PTA. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, school board members, superintendent, and staff. With me tonight, I have Candy Wolf. There you go. Area VP with the Escambia County Council of PTAs. It is our pleasure to be with you this evening and update the board. We ended the year with attending a Data for Good training provided by Florida PTA. This training was extremely informative in understanding the numbers and the demographics of our students in Escambia County. For participating, ECC PTA was awarded a $200 grant. We started the year with our first roundtable where Dr. Smith was our special guest. Thank you for taking the time to share your vision and to show your support of PTA. We enjoyed our Q&A session, and with that said, thank you for meeting our first VP, Sarah Wiggins, this morning to discuss the points and concerns that were mentioned during the roundtable. The second half of the school year is a busy time for us. We typically have 4 ceremonies between now and the end of the school year. As with everyone else, currently our future events are all virtual, but they will occur. Please be on the lookout for invites to the following: reflection ceremony, Founders Day, Student of the Year, and awards. PTAs in Escambia County are working hard to continue within the new parameters and still be a voice for all students. I encourage each of you to join your school's PTA Facebook page and check out what they're doing. If you don't see a PTA, let's work together to change that. On behalf of Escambia County Council of PTAs and our local units, we appreciate the opportunity to share our news with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And please express our appreciation for the PTAs continuing those types of activities no matter how they have to, because they're very important to students. And you know, if you're in kindergarten and you get used to it, you want to see it happen, and the children and the students are looking forward to it. So thank you very, very much for doing those things. Mr. Superintendent, how about a Stellar Employee of the Month?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, it is my pleasure this evening to announce the stellar employee for the month of January, who is Kathy Finch. Mrs. Finch, please come forward with your coworkers, family, and friends. Kathy Finch is the administrative clerk at Bellevue Elementary School. She has been with the district and in her position for 3 years, Mrs. Finch is the face of Bellevue Elementary School. After serving as a teacher's assistant, where each day she went above and beyond for the students and teachers she worked with, she was promoted to the position of administrative clerk in the front office. Kathy Finch has been described as a humble, patient, and dedicated employee who makes it her daily duty to make every person's day just a little bit better. She actively listens to make sure she understands, seeks solutions to problems, and stops at nothing to give stellar customer service to parents, students, teachers, and community members. In an extremely busy office, with telephones ringing, families registering students, and the general hustle and bustle of an elementary school front office, Mrs. Finch is never too busy to make others know she cares for them and they are important to her. It is not uncommon to see Mrs. Finch taking down copious notes when she is on the phone or interacting with a parent, demonstrating her desire to meet every person's needs thoroughly and accurately. Mrs. Finch pays attention to detail and has implemented systems to ensure Bellevue Elementary School's front office operates smoothly and remains organized. Mrs. Finch encourages students to stop by and visit with her, and they are always dropping off pictures they drew especially for her. It is not uncommon to find her engaging with students one-on-one, and Mrs. Finch loves to walk students to class, making them feel special and putting parents at ease knowing their student will arrive safely and promptly to class. Kathy Finch is also a thoughtful co-worker, often writing encouraging notes to staff members, recognizing special days and events. Mrs. Finch demonstrates by action that her excellent customer service and perhaps even a little Southern hospitality still exists today. Bellevue Elementary is proud to call Kathy Finch a Bellevue Eagle and their very own stellar employee. Kathy Finch is stellar because of her excellent work ethic and dedication to the staff and students throughout the Escambia County School District. She exemplifies the pillars of people and service, and it is for these reasons and so many others that she has been selected as our stellar employee of the month of January 2021. She will receive a plaque, a pin, and a check for $100 from Members First Credit Union. Congratulations, Mrs. Finch, and please come forward.
Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it. And very much, I really appreciate it. It's a great honor, and I appreciate my wonderful leadership team and how they support me and help me. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. Next, Mr. Superintendent, a resolution, the Escambia Literacy Ambassador Resolution.
Happy to share this resolution today, and it reads as follows. Whereas Mr. Sandy Sansing has been a dedicated advocate for student achievement and success through his myriad sponsorship efforts, and whereas Mr. Sansing's deep commitment to the entire educational community is evidenced by his extensive service and participation in numerous endeavors, including Cram the Van, the Golden Apple Awards, and Take Stock in Children scholarships. And whereas Mr. Sansing has sponsored the Sandy Sansing Spelling Bee for more than 4 decades, awarding thousands of dollars in prizes to deserving students and championing classroom literacy. And whereas Mr. Sansing's ongoing support of public education has helped the Escambia County School District succeed in its mission to provide an environment that creates opportunities for all students to achieve their highest potential while building a foundation for continuous learning. And whereas the Escambia County School District does hereby observe January 25th through the 29th, 2021 as Celebrate Literacy Week, Florida. And whereas because spelling knowledge facilitates reading and writing, the Escambia County School District designates January 27th, 2021 as Words That Wow Wednesday. And whereas Escambia County Schools will host spelling bees this year, commemorating Sandy Sansing's 45th year of continued support and commitment to literacy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Escambia County, Florida, does now publicly recognize, thank, and commend Mr. Sandy Sansing for his long-standing initiatives aligned to strengthen student literacy in Escambia County and the surrounding areas by declaring him the first Escambia Literacy Ambassador. Be it further resolved that a copy of this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of the regular meeting of said board, and that a copy be tendered to Mr. Sandy Sansing, Lisa Marsh, English Language Arts Specialist, and Jessica Rao, English Language Arts Specialist, adopted this 19th day of January 2021. I would ask Ms. Marsh and Ms. Rao to come to the podium. Mr. Sansing was unable to attend this evening, but we wanted to designate this resolution today given the date of the Literacy Week, and we also will be presenting this to him in person February. He will come to the board meeting in February.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I move the adoption of the resolution.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Mr. Fetzko. Is there any discussion? If not, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much. Ladies, if you want to get copies and you want to come forward.
Yes, you can come forward. We will.
That's what I thought. Yeah. You'll see you next month. We'll see you next month.
Copies already. I understand that. Thank you very much. Thank you for what you do. I can swear to the support and the longevity of supportive education from Mr. Sanding, especially for the fact that he did graduate 1 year earlier than I did from Pensacola High School. He is a 65 graduate from Pensacola High School. And you can guess I'm a 66. Yes, that's right. So thank you very much for that recognition tonight. Resolution for the National FFA Week.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whereas the National FFA organization, formerly known as the Future Farmers of America, is an organization of more than 700,000 students studying agriculture, and whereas the National FFA organization is dedicated to making a positive difference in the lives of young people by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education at the local, state, and national level, and whereas nationally, more than 75% of FFA members enroll in a 2-year or 4-year program of higher education following graduation from high school in preparation for one or more than 300 career opportunities in agriculture, which include more than 8,000 job titles. And whereas Florida agriculture represents a $220 billion industry within the state of Florida and serves as an economic engine for the state economy, while nationally, agriculture employs over 11% of the national workforce. And whereas the FFA motto, learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, and living to serve, epitomizes those high standards and qualities of leadership possessed by FFA members. And whereas the Escambia County FFA and the agri-science education programs in the Escambia County School District are tremendously successful and extremely valuable in improving the quality of life for Escambia County citizens. And whereas the Escambia County FFA programs recognize the observance of National FFA Week, February 20 through 27th, 2021. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Escambia County, Florida, does hereby recognize and commend Escambia County FFA organization members, their advisors, school administrators, parents, and all who support, promote, and encourage these students of agricultural education as we celebrate the observance of National FFA Week, February 20th through the 27th. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread among the minutes of the regular meeting of said board, and that a copy be tendered to Mr. Stephen T. Harrell, Director, Workforce Education, adopted this 19th day of January 2021.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion for this resolution?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to adopt the resolution as read by the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Fetzko. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? No discussion, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Mr. Harrell?
Thank you. Question, sir. Does Escambia County still have the largest FFA? I know that it was.
You know, we typically like to fill this room with blue coats, the blue jackets, whenever we do this resolution, and of course COVID has changed that for us, but I don't want anyone in this room to forget that we still are serving thousands of students over the years, that we're changing their lives through FFA. We're teaching them leadership skills, and we're teaching them how to survive in this economy. As it changes, so do our programs. So although those students aren't here tonight, you can see thousands of them that have been affected over the years by FFA in our community, and you're going to know them because they're going to be the kids that are out there right now learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, and living to serve. And I see them on a regular basis, and they thank me for being a part of this when I didn't do it. Their advisors, all of the volunteers, all of the local businesses that contribute to those FFA experiences, they did it. They did it. They changed those kids' lives. So thank you for continuing to support those programs because it's vitally important to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next and final resolution, don't run off too far, Career and Technical Education Month.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whereas profound economic and technological changes require workers who are trained in skilled professions, and whereas career and technical education ensures that competitive and skilled workers are ready, willing, and capable of performing in high-wage, high-skill, and in-demand career fields. And whereas the efforts of career and technical educators, businesses, and industry stimulate the growth and vitality of our local, state, and national economies by preparing graduates for careers that are forecast to experience the largest and fastest growth in the next decade. And whereas career and technical education provides students with a school-to-career connection, helping students experience practical and meaningful applications of a variety of skills. And whereas 66% of Escambia County School District middle school students and 66% of high school students are enrolled in a career academy. And whereas 689 students are enrolled in George Stone Technical College for adult education and career certificate programs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Escambia County, Florida, does hereby observe the month of February 2021 as Career and Technical Education Month. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be spread among the minutes of the regular meeting of said board, and that a copy be tendered to Mr. Stephen T. Harrell, Director, Workforce Education, adopted this 19th day of January 2021.
Thank you very much, sir. Do I have a motion?
I move the adoption of the Career and Technical Week resolution.
Thank you very much. Second?
Second it.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion?
I need to correct that motion. It's month, not week.
Would you like me to go back and check with the second person, see if he's okay with that? Okay. All right. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harrell. You may ascend again.
Are they still having the competitions?
You know, it's a great honor to be a part of such a great team, and that team, you know, extends out into our community, not just our educators here, not just the folks, the parents, the students, but the local business community as well. I can't say thank you enough to everyone that's involved in young people's lives, getting them prepared to get a real job after they graduate. That it's fantastic to be a part of that team, and thank you for honoring our CTE teachers, not just during CTE month, but every month. It's an absolute honor to be able to come to the board workshops and bring our Career Academy students to present. And I can't thank you enough for that continued support, because as long as we continue to get that kind of support, we can continue to do great things for young people's lives and change this community. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much. All right, at this time, we will move on into public forum. The public forum is to give members of the public the opportunity to address the school board on any matter of concern, particularly regarding education and the administration of our schools. In this setting, as a school board member, we are not compelled to answer questions or to respond to you normally, but will engage back with you and back and forth with dialogue. However, your concerns will be noted by the board and the superintendent. As always, we invite you to contact us by email or by phone calls. At least at the meeting, all the meeting times that you could attend are posted on the website. Speakers must adhere to the guidelines on the back of the printed form. On the form, please be sure to indicate whether you intend to speak to the public forum or to a specific item on the agenda. Please direct your comments to the chair. You're expected to be respectful to address the board. We are also asked you use titles, not individual names. Personal attacks against board members, superintendent, staff, or employees will not be tolerated. If you fail to follow these guidelines, you will be removed. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. Mr. Hammonds is present as our parliamentarian, and Ms. Buswell was here for our timekeeper of 3 minutes. You'll bear with me as I go through the list in case I miss something. We will certainly correct that. First of all, I have a Vera Wiley. She here? Thank you. You may just remain standing or whatever, that'd be fine. And Dawn Merritt. Okay, these ladies have agreed to give to Laura Hobbs their time, which will be 3 minutes each, which gives Ms. Laura Hobbs 9 minutes. Ms. Hobbs.
Good evening, Chairman Slayton, members of the board, and Dr. Smith. I'm Laura Hobbs, Media Specialist at Lincoln Park Elementary and President of the Escambia County School Librarians Association. First, thank you for returning to the bargaining table. We offer our encouragement to both the district and the union in reaching a successful bargaining plan for Florida House Bill 641, one that both parties will be proud to present to employees and the public. We hope the new plan will speak fairly to the worth of all Escambia County employees, new teachers, veteran teachers, and educational support personnel. Since the last board meeting, there has been a lot of chatter amongst teachers and staff. Were we heard? Will it make a difference? We hope you are using the time to explore ways to meet our needs and not merely responding to the pressure of the Pensacola News Journal article from last week. Regardless, we're glad you're back. Before you return to bargaining, we'd like to remind you of a few important thoughts. If there was ever a time in our district's history that current teachers and staff deserved an equitable and significant raise, this is it. When called to return to work in a pandemic, despite health risks, we returned and have been here since August. This has been the toughest year ever for all of your employees. You have had to ask more of us than ever before, and we have answered with yes. It is your turn to answer us with yes. Our veteran teachers support our new teachers and are happy to see them get a better starting salary, an over 14% increase, or about $5,000. This may get them in the door long enough for veteran teachers to train them. But will they stay if they see that veteran teachers are not valued or compensated fairly, if there is nowhere for them to go? The answer to that question may be decided by you in this bargaining session. Veteran teachers deserve an equal raise. School districts cannot run without veteran teachers to train and mentor new teachers, to run departments and committees. And yes, we love our jobs. We wouldn't want to do anything else. We'd like to not have to do anything else in order to earn a living. Your employees deserve a clear-cut plan for their futures that keeps us at the front of the state average, plus cost of living, and to be planned for in advance of the upcoming year. To make this happen, pet projects may have to wait. Other avenues may need to be explored. To be honest, we're tired of asking for raises. We're tired of the rules changing. First steps, then performance pay, then levels, and now compressed steps. What does that even look like? For veteran teachers, our last 5 years is sacred. Wages in those years decide retirement income. We cannot afford to be passed by or shortchanged. In years past, when the district claimed shortages and insisted it could not do any better by us, we stood by you. Stand by us now. And it isn't just teachers. Due to a lack of competitive wages, our district has forced valuable education support personnel into the private sector in search of a living wage. We've had a major shortage of bus drivers for the past few years, and today we're asking many drivers to complete double or even triple routes. Are they being paid extra for picking up additional routes and exposing themselves to more risk during a pandemic? Custodial responsibilities have doubled, trying to keep the schools clean and sanitized. Has their added work volume during a pandemic been rewarded? A 20-cent an hour raise is an insult. They deserve so much more, certainly an equitable raise. Last week, in regards to student achievement, this board asked, what can we do different, better, wiser? I would ask you to consider your questions in a broader sense. One right road is to pay your employees competitive wages to attract and keep the best teachers and employees that are out there. Watch the district stabilize and grow. Show us you value us by not forcing us to leave and supplement our incomes with additional jobs. Your board has said, we are asking for your help again. Tell us where we can improve to get from better to best. We're telling you in this forum. And Board Member Hightower mentioned unity. Unity would be valuing each other, not pitting veteran teachers against new teachers, or skipping over sets and subsets of employees and raises. Make that raise even across the board. Then plan for next year and take another significant step. Our county is not destitute. We are not on the verge of bankruptcy. We're glad there's substantial savings for a rainy day, although we can't help but wonder how this was accumulated when there's never enough for significant raises. And yet, here we are, unable to hire or retain bus drivers, custodial staff, cafeteria workers, and teachers during a pandemic. I think our rainy day is here. Help us feel united by understanding our economic and safety concerns. And to quote Mr. Fetzko, Board Member Fetzko, Henry Ford said, there is always a better way to do something. Find it. A best plan has to be developed. If you give everyone a 14% raise at once and can sustain it, that is a best plan. If it is not sustainable next year, we're asking you to get really creative. Let this be your year of strategic planning. Plan for next year this year. After all, Dr. Smith says you are a talented group. So take a bold stand for what is right and include veteran teachers in this pay proposal at the same percentage as new teachers. Make ESP salaries competitive with the private sector. Then look to the future and create an equitable pay scale that addresses annual cost of living plus 3% for all employees annually. In this year of all years, we need to hear we will, not we want to or we'd like to, but we will. Let's keep Escambia County a district in which teachers want to teach, employees want to work, students want to learn, and parents want to send their children. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, ma'am. The next form I have is Mr. John Cole. Mr. Cole, you're giving your 3 minutes to Nikki Cole. Thank you, ma'am. You have 6 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Nikki Cole, and I am a 23-year veteran teacher with the pleasure of creating the future in kindergarten. Once again, we meet. Once again, we're in a very large room with appropriate social distancing and a nice clean podium that I didn't have to clean. After speaking at the last school board meeting, I've been asked by several colleagues about the experience. I want to share some of those most asked questions. Were you nervous? To quote the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. So no, I wasn't nervous about speaking the truth. The next question was, did I feel that you were listening to what I had to say? That one is a little tricky. I felt as I was speaking, and after I made eye contact with each of you, that I was taken seriously. However, when the public forum ended and the installation began, the words, "Thank you for staying awake and waiting patiently," were pretty much a slap in the face. And the last most common question asked of me was, "Will you speak again?" At first, my response was no, because to give credit to Albert Einstein, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, which fits this situation well. Once again, we get our hopes up that tomorrow we will no longer be one of the 6 districts in the great state of Florida that will remain at impasse. As a veteran educator, when I'm faced with challenges that I don't understand, I go looking for answers. So I spent time carefully reviewing the state school board meeting that took place on January the 13th, 2021. I lost count of how many times I heard the term immature adults in regards to negotiations. I know that immature adults was explained as being EEA, and that they were blocking teachers of getting a historic raise. These immature adults are charged with keeping things fair. Therefore, these immature adults will not settle until all district personnel is given a respectable raise. And according to the state board meeting, all of you should be able to visit the schools that you have been elected to serve, because we've been over-quarantining students and staff, and there's been an overkill of informing staff and parents in regards to COVID-19. In local news, our board stated that one reason for not agreeing to raise pay for teachers was due to the fact that we must leave money in reserve to build future schools. How's that going to work when we can't pay for the staff we have now, and this will only add to the cost of salaries? Another article was in relation to the county commissioners asking the school board to split a loan which will be given to Achieve Escambia. And again, how will the district help fund this project since we have no money available? In closing, as your negotiation team asks to meet again tomorrow, please remind them the definition of insanity in the words of Albert Einstein. Your teachers and staff members have worked long and hard, and we expect all of you to make it worth our blood, sweat, and tears to continue to reach the students of Escambia County. Thank you.
Thank you. David Elsbeck, as you're donating to Patricia Rockwell. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for giving us the time to speak tonight. My name is Trish Rockwell, and I teach 5th grade ESE at Ferry Pass Elementary. There are many things that are not being done well, and many people are going to speak about many things. I want to speak specifically about the pay increase part of the contract that you will not approve. It's my understanding that you feel beginning teachers deserve more of a pay increase than our veteran employees. Here's some numbers that I worked up. In the education program at UWF, a new teacher enters the classroom having only spent 425 hours in a classroom over 4 years with students. During those hours, they're never alone with children and make very few educational decisions. In that same 4 years, a classroom teacher spends 4,680 hours with students and countless hours with planning on weekends, at nights, and over holidays. We can make constant minute-by-minute decisions. After 26 years of teaching, I've spent 30,000 hours, 30,420 hours with students and countless hours on the weekends doing planning. But by not giving veteran staff an equal pay increase, what we teachers hear you saying is that those significantly more hours and experience don't matter. I have been teaching for 26 years. And every year you require us to do professional development. So every year we're exposed to new things and learn new things to take back to our classroom. And every year we become better teachers. But by not giving veteran employees an equal pay increase, we hear you saying that all of those extra time, and even though we get better, don't really matter. We have great new teachers. And you know that experience is important and valuable and worth more. You say you want to close the gap and you want to reach all the students, and we wholeheartedly agree. But schools depend on veteran teachers advising and supporting the new teachers coming in. We don't go into teaching expecting a huge financial benefit. However, we know that we feel like you're taking advantage of that and telling us that all of our hard work and dedication over our many years isn't valuable, but we are, and we deserve to be paid accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisette Guttery. Thank you, ma'am. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Lisette Guttery, and I am in my 12th year of teaching. I am in the beginning stages of what people would call a veteran teacher. I hold a master's degree in elementary education with additional certifications in ESE and ESOL. I have attended almost 200 hours of unpaid training in just the last 3 years. My classroom is host to many student teachers from EWF. I teach a blended class of general education, ESE, and ESOL in a portable that is older than me, that doesn't even have a covered ramp for when it rains. Yet, I even talked my husband of 18 years into becoming a teacher just last year because I knew he was desperately needed. I am a proud Escambia County teacher who owns a home in my district just so that my students and family can truly see that I am an invested part of the community. Tonight, however, instead of finishing grading or working my second necessary job, I would like to address a question I saw posted on the Escambia County Facebook page by a resident. The question was, if veteran teachers teach the same material that new teachers do, why would we not pay them the same? I thought this was a great question, and it needed addressing. As a veteran teacher, you become the backbone of the school. Families rely on you. Administrators rely on you. New teachers rely on you. Our duties can include, but not be limited to, helping to plan and implement curriculum, new or updated, implementing policy changes throughout the school. We can carry a more taxing load of students who are ESOL, ESE, or identified behaviors. Even times we may have that student simply because they come with that parent. Other teachers rely on us to know policies and procedures and to help set the tone for the year. We are available to plan, bounce ideas off of, or simply be a shoulder to cry on for those inevitable tough days. Students and families get to know the teachers and look forward to seeing them year after year at school events. We require less training and subsequent less hand-holding by administration. This last part may not seem like a lot, so let me give you an example. From the business side, before I taught, I was a restaurant manager, and having new staff required new training, which requires you to pay those trainers. You lose productivity while things slow down while people are being trained. Schools may not have the same product as a restaurant, but we have desired outcomes. We need our students to learn. With slow productions, teachers leaving, new teachers, subs, and coming in, that learning is slowed. My middle school son has had 3 English teachers since August, 3 different personalities all teaching and reteaching just to catch up. His production, or comprehension, has been slowed, making it nearly impossible to be ready for the FSE in a few months. If teachers and support staff were secure in knowing that they would not only be paid their worth, but also know that staying loyal in their jobs within Escambia County would be rewarded, they would not be lured by outside offers from other counties and the corporate world. You say the extra funds we are asking for are here now, but may not be here in the future, therefore you cannot vote yes, is disheartening. Just as a student telling me that they will not be trying anymore because they may not understand what's coming up next. I would remind that student that I have their back. Do you have mine? Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Francis Heinley.
Hello, I'm Frances Heinley, and I'm speaking as a retired teacher with nearly 40 years in Escambia County. My heart is broken seeing how our veteran teachers are being disrespected. They should be valued more for their experience and willingness to mentor the new teachers right out of college. I appreciated help from veteran teachers when I was a beginning teacher in 1970, and I realized one day I would be experience and helped teachers myself. And actually, about 10 or 15 years later, I was honored to help with training a young intern teacher named Steve Marcanio. I'm sure you know of him. I spent 20 or 30 years sharing creative ways to teach our students. I definitely would not feel appreciated or valued if my school district didn't value me enough to pay me more than the beginning teachers that I spent so much time mentoring and model teaching and planning, many times just to see them teach a year or two, then go off to find a more lucrative position. Teachers are facing a lot of stress dealing with the virus, remote students, and working second jobs. Many of their spouses have lost their jobs, so theirs is the family's sole income. Please find a way to value and support our experienced teachers. Let them know their experience is worth something. I know you can do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Cheryl Ziegler.
Good evening. I am Cheryl Ziegler. This is my 5th year teaching. I'm very thankful for the veteran teachers that have come along my side the first couple years that I was teaching, because I would not be the teacher I am today without them. I encourage the board and the district to ensure that veteran teachers receive the raise they deserve for the experience they bring to this district, their school, and more importantly, their students. Before teaching, I spent 26 years in various roles from secretary to management. Each job change put me at the bottom of the pay scale for that position. As I gained experience and showed that I was effective at my job, my pay increased. The more experience, the more responsibility. More responsibility, more pay. We are in the business of education, and all staff should be acknowledged for the experience they bring to the table, and for our ESPs as well. When I started with the district, I was a secretary in the custodial department, and that is a hard job. It's been, the amount of work that they have to do is doubled and tripled. Think about your own kids, how messy they leave the house. Think about having to clean after 800 plus of them. It's a tough job. After teaching and driving buses, custodial is probably the 3rd toughest job in the district. So my heart goes with custodians because I worked over there. But our ESPs deserve the same salary they would get if they went to clean at Navy Federal or if they worked at Target. With the less stress that they have there, it's great. But we need them here because honestly, if the school isn't clean, people don't want to come there to learn. They're just as vital as teachers, in my personal opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Errol Cleaver.
Good evening, Dr. Smith and members of the board. Mine is Kevin Adams, which is what I wanted to talk about. I'm here to talk about the legislative delegation that is happening across town tonight, and I wanted to thank Patty Hightower and Mr. Adams for always faithfully going to Tallahassee and advocating with or for us, for our schools, to the members of the Florida legislature. I'm here tonight to encourage you to continue to work with Escambia County school teachers and staff when it comes to advocating for what's best for our students in our school system. Tonight, in addition to Mr. Adams, we've got 3 Escambia County school teachers there that will be speaking also. Tomorrow night, I'll be meeting personally with new Representative Michelle Salzman. And some of the things that Escambia County school teachers are concerned about are testing, We know that the board stands with us and that we are advocating for a suspension of testing this year, a suspension of using standardized tests to punish schools and punish teachers and students by using them towards scores. So that's one of our number one asks. Our second ask is a commitment to local control, a sincere commitment to local control from our Florida State Legislature and allowing local districts to do what is best for that local district when it comes to testing, when it comes time to opening schools, not opening schools. In this school district, we are, in our county, we have one of the highest positivity rates in the entire state right now. I know that it's between 20 and 30%. And so COVID-19 is a very sincere public health threat. The state seems to want to just shove it off on the county, well, you dispense the vaccine, you do this. But then when it comes time for us to actually make decisions about what's good for our schools and our communities, then they want to have total control. So I am here tonight to ask you to please continue to be the faithful advocates that you've been in the past. Help us stand up and advocate for what is best for Escambia County students with our Florida legislature. We know that there's going to be a really active session, and Dr. Smith, I want to welcome you again and let you know that, teachers are paying attention to legislation, we're paying attention to what our legislature is doing, and it takes a team to convince everybody of what is really best for the students in this community. So I just wanted to thank Dr. Adams, or Mr. Adams in his absence, for being there tonight. And thank you, Ms. Hightower. I know you've gone personally to Tallahassee as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Stacy Seahack. It was close.
Hello. Oh, sorry. I'm used to keeping it all the time. My name's Stacy Chiak. Hello, members of the board and superintendent. I'm sorry I don't have a very eloquent written like it seems like all the rest of my peers have had. But I just wanted to come here tonight to speak on what I think is very important, which is, right, that's the old saying, you get what you pay for. And I think it's really important. I am a special educator, middle school, proudly. I went to the University of West Florida, left to have my career and came from the University of Tennessee, where I taught future teachers for 10 years. And when I came back to Florida, it was very challenging to get my certificate, even though I had already been a professional educator in 2 other states. And I had to do quite a lot of work to be able to get credit for some of my years' experience in Escambia County, which I was happy to do. And then I'm still, having 28 years' experience and a master's degree, making $40,000 a year. And I know that's a little bit tacky and gauche to give your salary out, but I think that it is important that we look at, I don't know any other profession that literally penalizes you for your experience. And I just don't understand that at all. And we are in the business of educating. So it just seems that if you find value in the teachers and the people that serve our students and families, then we are going to just gain more support from our community, which will then again, right, the apple in the tree scenario, the more support that we get. I feel like that it'll just be a snowball effect, and that it will, hopefully we can get some more cheerleaders for education, because I plan on retiring one day, and I'd really love it if I could be confident with the people who are going to run the world. So with that, I humbly submit my time. I'm not really sure what to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Humbly submit. I'm very tired.
Dory Nickerson.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Dory Nickerson, and this is my 7th year of teaching in Escambia County. I spoke at last month's meeting about my disappointment in the way the salary negotiations were being handled by the district, and I'm coming to you again because I think the board needs to know how critically low morale is among teachers in the district at this moment. We are hoping that with the arrival of our new superintendent, there can be a turning point for this incredibly difficult school year, and the board and bargaining team can cooperate and make this district a place where teachers want to teach and employees want to work. This year has left us exhausted. Every teacher in this district has worked themselves to the bone trying to meet the needs of our students, and the refusal to compromise feels like getting kicked when we're already down. I personally know many employees who have quit or retired early from being so disrespected and undervalued by the district. I hope that you will seize this year as the perfect opportunity to extend the olive branch and build a more positive relationship with your teachers and employees. The ball is in your court. We have risen to every demand and direction from the district this year, and now we are asking you to step up for us. As a younger teacher, it is true that the district salary proposal would benefit me greatly, but even I can see how wrong it is to give me a $5,000 raise and the teacher across the hall from me a $200 raise. In any other year, it would be unacceptable, but in this year, it's abhorrent. We have done everything you have asked us to do. We returned to school even when numbers were rising. We learned how to teach remotely, we clean our classrooms constantly, and we have adapted to new restrictions and procedures. I do want to thank my school's administrative team for being so supportive this year. Good leadership has been our savior through all of this. When you go back to the table tomorrow to resume negotiations, please remember everything we have done this year for our students, and know that we are paying attention to your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Natasha Davis.
Hello, I just have some testing concerns about the FSA. How will the FSA be handled this year? How will the retention work by the kids missing out on so much instruction time from last year? They haven't had enough time to learn all the language arts and the math standards that they missed from the ones from last year, and now they're trying to cram it all in without them actually having time to process it all. With the portfolio, my child was supposed to take it in October, but they pushed it back. So I was wondering, are they still going to have the same amount of opportunities to still take the portfolio that they would have during the school year to make that be substantial for them passing? Or how will the different things work on the opportunities for them? I just want to make sure all the kids get the opportunity that they need in all the avenues of being able to pass the FSA without them having to be retained due to lack of instruction time. Thank you.
Thank you. Chelsea, Alberta.
Hello. As you said, my name is Chelsea Alberta. I'm a middle school teacher here in Escambia County. So just like everybody else here, I don't have a word for how tired we all are. Last semester, I taught 9 classes between my traditional and remote rosters. This semester, I'm lucky. I still have the same number of students. I still have to differentiate my teaching for remote and traditional, but I technically have 6 now because they were all turned into blended learning. Now, typically, I get home from school and work until around 10 at night, and then put in another 5 hours of work on the weekend. In spite of this busyness, I'm here to speak tonight because this is important. How much a professional is valued isn't shown by platitudes and praise. It is shown by what they are paid. And right now, the district isn't valuing its professionals the way it should. We aren't asking for much. The district already currently has $20 million above what you need in savings, and you don't even have to touch that to cover the budget for what we are asking for this year. We're asking that the district use money that has been saved in our current budget to make teacher salaries fair and bring ESPs up to a decent minimum wage. We as a district have the money to do this. Now, right now, on top of the employee shortages that the district has been dealing with for the last several years, this year we have already lost teachers, aides, bus drivers, and other employees to COVID fears, COVID diagnoses, and due to the doubled workload. Telling a teacher who is currently working through this, who may have years of experience, that they aren't worth paying a fair salary or putting on a fair pay scale will lose even more. How many people do we have to lose to understand this? I already know teachers who are looking for better work, because why would you stay somewhere where your experience, your expertise, your skill, your work is not respected? Even though next year might be easier, when COVID will hopefully be under control, people aren't staying because COVID isn't to blame for the district's refusal to respect them as professionals. COVID isn't to blame for why we are here tonight. Frankly, why would you stay, like I said, when that dedication won't be respected? This isn't just about losing experienced teachers. I am only in my 3rd year, and I am watching these negotiations deciding whether I should stay. I'm watching it deciding what I should say when my friends ask me, hey, does teaching provide you decent pay and decent work? Because right now, I don't have a really positive answer for them. But I want them to. I want to invite people who love working with kids in to become teachers with me. But I can't do that right now because I respect their work ethic and I respect them enough to know they deserve to be paid better than they would be here right now. If we want our district to have experienced teachers come to us, if we want new teachers to stay long enough to become the experienced professionals that we deserve and that we need, we have to show them the respect that every professional deserves. And frankly, right now, your current plan, it doesn't show that respect.
Thank you. Alex Rigsby.
Dr. Smith and esteemed members of the board, I stand before you here today not as a teacher in any county of this state, but as a product of several counties in this state. But for the veteran teacher guidance of Dr. Haynes of Walden Lake Elementary in Hillsborough County, Florida, where I was born, but for Mr. Eric Scharf of Tomlin Middle School in Plant City, Florida, but for Mr. Scott Hall of Lemon Bay High School in Inglewood, Florida. Not only would I maybe not be here today, but I owe my entire life experience and eventually my furthering of my education, everything to them. And had they not been in the positions that they were, had they left because they did not feel that they were being valued, I don't know that I would be where I am today. Now, I told you I'm not a teacher, but I didn't say that I don't work with children, and I do work with children. I'm actually an attorney who day in and day out works with children through Florida's dependency system. And in that system, there is a standard that applies to every single case that we have, and it is what is in the best interests of the children. And I tell you today, as a former student born and raised in the state of Florida, what is in the best interest of every child and what would have been in my best interest back in the 90s was for me to have teachers who value what they do and feel that they are being valued. And what is in the best interest of every child is to have teachers who love what they do and feel that they can come before you today and feel that they are being appreciated. And that's all that I have heard today from the speakers who fortunately gave much better speeches than I did and were able to go before me. But I just hope that today you recognize that, and in everything that you do, just think about what is in the best interest of the children like I was 20, 30 years ago, and who went through this system, which is something that not a lot of people can claim nowadays. And the last thing I'll say is that there are many people who are not teachers, but who have had teachers in Florida and who care very much about their teachers and love the experiences that they've had in Florida. And they will be here too, and they will be here to talk to you all if these people go unheard. And ma'am, you have a cheerleader here, and they will continue to come up here just like I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry Stoker.
Hi, I'm Sherry Stoker. I'm currently a teacher at Ferry Pass Middle School. I've been a teacher for 18 years in the school district. I am currently on a medical leave of absence due to a ruptured brain aneurysm on December 10th. Prior to that, I had 119 face-to-face students, and since January 5th, which is when the students returned from Christmas, every day my students are divided amongst 7th grade teachers at my school because they cannot find a substitute. We have had days at my school alone where there's 5 or more teachers not there, and the kids are just split up throughout the whole entire day. I love my job and my students more than anything, and I understand that we do need to offer beginning teachers a higher salary so that we can be more competitive, but we also need to recognize that veteran teachers deserve to be compensated for all of their extra duties and their added experience. 2 years ago at my school, we had a science position that went unfilled until after Christmas. I worked with a long-term sub who had no experience in education to create lesson plans, make copies, pretty much helped her with everything, including behavior management. This was in addition to doing everything that I had to do in my own classroom. I also am a volunteer for Odyssey of the Mind. I sponsor it for our school, and I coach a team. And I never once complained. I never once felt like I was owed anything extra because so many veteran teachers helped me along the way. I would have never made it to year 18. I probably wouldn't have made it past year 1 without veteran teachers encouraging me to do what I needed to do to get through it. This year has been the hardest ever, especially with all of the unknowns with COVID. It has been very stressful, to say the least. It's sad to see that other districts like Baldwin County and even the entire state of Georgia are recognizing those sacrifices by giving COVID bonuses. But we can't get our district to agree that veteran teachers deserve more pay than the brand new teachers that we're expected to mentor and help along the way. I have gone the extra mile, and it's disheartening to know that our district isn't willing to do the same for us. Teachers are only asking for $775,000 more than what the state gave, and ESPs are asking for a total of $800,000 more. That's a total of $1.6 million. In previous years, our county has spent $3 to $5 million on raises. Teachers and ESPs are asking for very little, especially when you consider how much they're saving daily on substitutes and all the unfilled positions that we currently have in our district. Our union has shown that there is enough money in the budget to give us the amount we're asking for without even touching the reserves, which are substantial and more than 6% higher than what the state even requires. I feel that veteran teachers should be compensated for the added value that they bring to the classroom and to their schools. We've already had teachers leaving often for higher paying jobs out of education, and we have teachers leaving to teach in other states and counties. I don't think it's too much to ask that our district use extra funds to compensate veteran teachers for the extras that they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time tonight, and we will listen and take those words to heart, and that does conclude our public forum for the evening. Okay, moving back into the regular agenda. Item 3, we have 3 sets of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes from the December 10th special workshop, the December 11th regular workshop, and the December 15th regular meeting as provided in the agenda.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. We have no unfinished business, and we have new items under new business. Item A under proposed addition and revisions to school board district rules. Letter A is a resolution to rename the football field at Tate High School the Carl Madison Field. Do I have a motion?
Go ahead.
I make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion or anyone here who would like to speak to this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, sir. Item B, notice of intent to adopt the amendments of the district school board exceptional student education policies and procedures.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to adopt that notice of intent to adopt the amendments to the district SPs and Ps.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I will second the motion to adopt the amendments.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? Do we have any speakers? If not, please vote.
Motion is approved 4-0.
And new tonight, permission to advertise. The School Board of Escambia County, Florida, notice of intent to advertise the naming of the sports complex at Pensacola High School, the David M. Williams Sports Complex. Do I have a motion?
I move the advertisement of the motion.
Of the advertisement?
Yeah.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion or anyone who wishes to speak to this item? If not, please vote.
Motion approved 4-0.
Moving on into consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to adopt the consent agenda as provided in the paperwork from the superintendent.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any items which any of the board members would like to pull? First of all, in curriculum. Secondly, finance and business services. Next, human resource services. And last, under operations. Chair would like to make sure it's understood that all of these items were discussed at the Friday agenda workshop, and consensus was felt in favor of all these items. We have a motion, we have a second. Please vote.
Motion approved, 4-0.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, I have a few items here. Mr. Chairman, item number 1, administrative appointments, no items listed. Item number 2, student discipline. Item A, disciplinary reassignment. Recommend approval of item A as noted on the board agenda with details provided in the board backup.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of the superintendent's recommendations on disciplinary reassignments.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the disciplinary reassignments. Any discussion? Thank you very much. Please vote.
Motion approved, 4-0.
And item B, sir?
Also, under item number 2, item B, expulsions, recommend approval of items 1, 2, and 3 as noted on the board agenda with details provided in the board backup.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendations for expulsions as provided in the board backup.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion? No discussion, please vote.
Motion approved, 4-0.
There were no items submitted from internal auditing and, of course, no items from general counsel. Any other items brought forth by any of the board members?
I just want to make sure everybody received the cancellation of the meeting on the 2nd. We had a joint meeting scheduled with the planning board, and they have requested that we cancel that opportunity and they'll reset it at a later time.
Okay, and this is an early ad for your calendar because I can't give you an exact date, but I had a call from David Stafford, election supervisor, that he will be asking for a probably August joint meeting between the county commissioners and the school board to discuss drawing of lines for each of the districts. He's waiting on the data from the census before he would bring those items to us. And there are some federal implications that you have to be aware of. So if there's any questions, if you're not familiar with that, be glad to. I would be glad. I don't know. Can we discuss that? You want to we'll put that on the workshop agenda.
Yep.
We can do that. Ma'am, you got that? Thank you very much. I do want to just mention that I did attend the event with Dr. Smith for the 90th birthday of Coach Carl Madison. That was this past Saturday. Had nothing to do with the motion tonight. That takes care of that. But I would have to say, unfortunately, his wife was in the hospital, and the next morning at 2 a.m. she passed away.
Oh.
So that was Mrs. Grace Madison from Tate High School. They had been married, I don't know how long, 50 years at least. So just want to mention that. And of course today, a well-known alumni from Tate High School in Escambia County was found dead in his bed this morning, and that would be Don Sutton, who always, even though not living here, he was always a great ambassador for Escambia County and for the area. So prayers for his family in his passing. He was 75. Young guy, real young guy. Mr. Superintendent, anything else?
No, I appreciated the event Saturday where a lot of history was shared there at the event. I'm sorry to hear about the passing of his wife.
Very, very unfortunate, especially with the timing, but it was a very, very fine event.
Yes.
Really well. Anything else from any of the other board members? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. When we're talking about teachers and our role models and the impact that they've had on each of us, I wanted to let you know that a former teacher of mine in this district, Lois McCrae, some of you may know her. She passed away at 99. And very cheerful person. I think she taught 7th grade math. But it's those role models and mentors that come along in all of our lives that make that great impact to snatch us back on the right track whenever we are falling off of the track. Another thing I'd like to bring before us is yesterday, the birth of Dr. Martin Luther King was celebrated. And I have often, since I've been here, asked the board to participate in some of those activities, and I know for this year, they were basically virtual or something else. But I really do believe that that is something that we need to begin to look at, is how we can be more represented as a school. Because some of the work that he did was to advance education for all children. And we get this national holiday, and most of us lay around and rest or clean up our house, do some of those things that we haven't had an opportunity to do. But again, I want to encourage the school board that once we're out of this crisis, that perhaps we can look at how to get more involved in that activity every year.
Thank you very much. Anything else? If not, this meeting is adjourned.